Ovation of the Seas is a Quantum-class ship by Royal Caribbean launched in 2016. Now, Royal Caribbean's latest and largest class of ships is the Oasis class. However, the Quantum class is excellent value for great amenities. Ovation holds 4,180 passengers if all staterooms are occupied, with a maximum of 4,905 passengers if some staterooms are fuller than double occupancy. The ship needs all of its 1,500 members of the crew. She weighs 167,800 tons and has a maximum speed of 22 knots. Which translates to about 44.5 kilometers per hour. She is 1,141 feet long, 161 feet wide. She has 16 decks, 2,095 cabins, 4 swimming pools, including one covered with a retractable roof, 10 jacuzzis, 16 elevators, and 18 or more dining options, and at least 11 of those are complimentary. So let's start by talking about food that's included. There are 4 dining rooms on the Ovation of the Seas, which at the present time all offer the same menu. They replace the traditional huge dining rooms of smaller ships. And with more than 4,000 people on board, it's difficult to sit them all in one huge dining room at dinner time. So first, we have the Grand and the Chic dining rooms. Both offer set time dining. This means that there are 2 sittings per night in each, typically 5:30 and 8 p.m. And if you opt for set time dining, that is where and when you'll be having dinner every night, unless you decide not to, one night or more. Second, there are the Silk and the American Icon Grill dining rooms, and both of these offer my time dining. What this means is that you either show up and wait for a table anytime you want within dining hours, of course, just like any busy Friday night land restaurant, or you reserve either before the cruise or once on board anytime you want, and it can be a different time every night. But to reserve popular times, you need to do it early. The dress code for all dining rooms is smart casual, so no tux or ball gowns required.
Next on the list of importance in complimentary meals is, of course, Windjammer Marketplace, also known as the buffet. This is where most people rush to on embarkation day as soon as they step on the ship. So many choices and only one limited-sized stomach. On Ovation, it is situated on deck 14. Windjammer is typically open from 7 to 11 a.m. for breakfast, 11:30 to 1:30 p.m. for lunch, and 5:30 to 9 p.m. for dinner. What does it offer, you ask? Bread, salad items, soups, sandwiches, and lots of fruits and veggies. There are gluten-free and vegetarian options, as well as chicken, beef, pork, fish and seafood, cheese, and deli meats. North American, Asian, Indian, Italian, and Mexican-type cuisines can be found. Lots of pasta, potatoes, and rice. So many delicious carbs. Gravies, pizza, and many, many pretty desserts. To drink, Windjammer offers coffee and tea, water, lemonade, iced tea, milk and hot chocolate are included. Every other drink isn't included, and we'll talk about that later.
Other complimentary venues include Sorrento's, a pizzeria on deck 4, usually open from 11:30 a.m. to 3 a.m. Cafe 270 on deck 5, typically open from 9 to 10:30 a.m. for breakfast, and then 11:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. There's a Solarium Bistro on deck 14, open from 7:30 to 10 a.m. for breakfast, and then from 12 to 1:30 p.m. for lunch. Also, there's the Seaplex Doghouse on deck 13, open from 1 to 5 p.m. for hot dogs and beer. Let's not forget Cafe Promenade on deck 4, open 24/7 for sandwiches and snacks. And finally, room service, which has a delivery fee of $7.95 US. For those of us who insist on giving the cruise company more money once on board, here are the options for fee dining. Chops Grill, which generally provides steak and seafood. Izumi, which offers Asian-type cuisine, including sushi. Jamie's Italian by Jamie Oliver has great reviews. La Pâtisserie, which offers cupcakes, macaroons, and coffee-type fare. There's the Amber and Oak Pub. And then there's Wonderland. Wonderland presents a theme-based menu described by many as an exceptional experience. It has great reviews. There's Kung Fu Panda, an Asian noodle shop exclusive to Ovation of the Seas for its Asian passengers. However, this restaurant is routinely shunned by Western guests, despite its very affordable prices. If it's still around in 2020, I will eat there, only because I like to root for the underdog. Johnny Rockets is the standard on Royal Caribbean ships, but on Ovation, we get Kung Fu Panda. And finally, there's the chef's table, which is premium food at a premium cost, limited seating. Now, to burn all those calories, and so that I personally don't try to compete with the ship for size, people who want to can head to the gym. The well-stocked gym is complimentary. If you prefer walking or running, there's an outdoor track with a lane dedicated to each. Want to guess how long the track is on Ovation? How about 553 meters? My high school track was 400 meters. If you want to spend more money on board, you can elect to do that at the spa. Now, spas are a big money maker for cruise lines. On Ovation, you can get a massage, skin treatments, even Botox and others, salt rubs, acupuncture, teeth whitening. You can get your hair done, get a mani-pedi for an inflated fee, in my humble opinion. They also have a thermal suite that you can buy a pass for. But on the Ovation, the reviews are quite conclusive. It's not worth the price on the ship because it's small, it has limited facilities, and has no views. Now, what else is there to do on this ship, you ask? Here's a non-exhaustive list of activities. The Flow Rider. This simulator sends water at a high speed over a small area to mimic surfing on the ocean. The Flow Rider is complimentary and you can ride as many times as you want. All you have to do is wait in line with a drink in hand, chatting and people watching. What could be better than that? The Rock Wall. It is said that the view alone is worth every step. Everyone from beginners to the habitual climbers can strap in, and this is also complimentary. Ripcord by iFly, a skydiving simulator, also complimentary and much safer than doing the real thing. There's limited pre-boarding booking online and more bookings available once you board. The North Star is a glass observation pod that rises 300 feet in the air so that you can admire the view from up there. This is also complimentary, and booking ahead is recommended. There are bumper cars, circus school, table tennis, foosball, air hockey, Xbox, roller skating, basketball court, indoor soccer, and all at the Seaplex, and all are complimentary. Pools, 4 of them. There's the outdoor pool deck, the indoor pool with retractable roof, the adult-only solarium pool, the circular lazy river, and then there's the children's splash pad. There are also multiple whirlpools, indoor and outdoor. And now for the drink prices. Here they are. You need to add an 18% gratuity to these prices. That is automatically added to your bill every time you order a drink. Drink packages are available. The 18% gratuity also needs to be added to the price. So for example, let's imagine that I get the deluxe drink package for $55 a day for 18 days. That equals $990 plus the 18% gratuity, which equals $1,168 US total for booze for 18 days. Today, that's $1,500 Canadian. This package also includes juice, soda, and bottled water, but this cannot be shared. I do plan to spend a few $100s on cocktails, but not $1,500. Now, for a beer drinking person, you'd have to drink 8 beers every day to recover the cost of the package. Now, if I still drank beer, I could easily drink 8 beers the first couple of days. But by the third day, I'd suffer from beer fatigue, and I'd be forcing myself to drink beer just because I bought the deluxe drink package. Many passengers, though, absolutely love it. You can also play pool on a self-leveling gyroscopic pool table at the music hall, like this one. Watching the balls not move blows my mind. There is also, wait for it, outdoor
Shuffleboard.
Shuffleboard. Shuffleboard.
I like shuffleboard. It's not just for old people. I really enjoyed playing it in a church basement as a child with my grandparents. There's a library upstairs from the 270 lounge where one can find books, cards, Sudoku, and board games. There's also the arcade, not complimentary. If you want to kiss a lot of money goodbye without getting anything in return, you can spend some time in the large casino. Just remember there's no gaming commission to regulate how often the slots have to pay out or how many decks of cards they use. There's a giant screen on the pool deck for outdoor movies, day or night. One can also do some shopping, but in my case, mostly window shopping. There is tons of art to browse, some of it interactive. There's a photo studio and a photo gallery to browse the photos captured by the many photographers on board. The cruise line hopes you will purchase at least some of those photos. There are many shows. One of them is a big multimedia show at the 270. Then there's usually another show at the Royal Theatre. This venue is also used to show 3D movies. There is live music in the music hall, and there is often a comedy show in one of the venues. You can also rent movies on your stateroom TV. There are also organized activities like dance classes, game shows, bingo, daily trivia, cooking classes, lectures and workshops, silent disco, finish that lyric, scavenger hunts, music quizzes, and there's plenty of music and dancing throughout the day at different venues. On port days, there are excursions, of course, either arranged on your own or through Royal Caribbean, or you can just get off the ship and explore on your own. If you're heading to a beach, you can stop to pick up your towels at the towel station on deck 14, so you don't need to pack your own. You can exchange it for a clean one anytime. Just remember to bring it back to the station before the last day of the cruise, or they'll charge you $25 for it. Did you know Ovation's cabins are about 9% larger than other cabins on larger ships? And all interior cabins on Ovation have a virtual balcony, which is a real-time live stream from outside views displayed on a 4K floor-to-ceiling screen with sound piped in as well. How exciting and cool is that? Ovation also has 28 studio cabins for solo travelers where there is no surcharge for being alone in a double occupancy cabin. Amazing! Next, let's talk about communication. The number one most important thing to do is to put your phone on airplane mode before you step on the ship. Even if you purchased Roam Like Home from your cell phone provider. Why? Because this cruise ship has its own cell roaming network, which is not included in any Canadian Roam Like Home type of plans. If you don't put your phone on airplane mode, get ready for a cell phone bill amounting to several thousands of dollars. Yes, for an 18-day cruise, it is that bad. There is decent satellite internet access on board, but I find it pricey. There are 2 tiers of internet speed. One is called the Surf package, which is the slower one, and this costs about $13 per device per day, which for us would be $234 for the trip. The streaming speed is $18 US per day per device, so that would amount to $324 US for an 18-night cruise. Apparently, the cheapest deal for internet is to purchase pre-cruise. Now, with an internet package, you can turn on Wi-Fi calling on your phone and be connected to everyone you know by text, calls, FaceTime, and everything else. But leave your phone on airplane mode while you do this, because if you don't, it might latch on to the ship's roaming cell network and cost you thousands. We could share a connection to upload photos, videos, call home if needed. We can either use the connection one device at a time, or with the right hardware, we can all use it concurrently when we're in the same room. Or we can just disconnect from the outside world while on the ship. Personally, I like to text and FaceTime my sister and maybe my father too, but we can talk about this if it's worth it or not. I would also recommend downloading the Royal IQ app on your phone from home before you leave. Then, once on the ship, you can access your own cruise activity calendar by signing on to the app, and this is free. But by paying $7.95 US, everything's in US dollars, each, only once during the cruise, we can text and call each other for free on the ship, even without internet. This is highly recommended to stay connected with your traveling buddies, and the cost is nominal. Ovation of the Seas has radio frequency ID luggage tracking. So you download the Royal IQ app and track your luggage as it moves from the sidewalk to the ship to the stateroom. So you can hang out in the bar or at the pool with a drink in your hand on the first day on board the ship, instead of going back and forth checking your stateroom to see if your luggage has arrived. Again, how cool is that? Your room attendant will leave the next day's cruise compass, which is the daily publication, in your room so you can review important information, find out what activities and what time for the next day, any shopping or spa specials, that sort of thing. I recommend bringing your highlighter to highlight what you find interesting, and we can all compare what we highlighted over a meal and decide what to do. Wow bands. What is a wow band? It's a bracelet with a radio frequency ID chip that serves as your stateroom key and SeaPass. Though to get off and back on the ship in port, you need your real SeaPass. The wow band doesn't cut it. There is a rumor that they charge $5 US for it. I think it should be complimentary for those who want one. I know not everybody does. Personally, I want one. Finally, the ports. First, Sydney, Australia, We get to visit Sydney for a couple of days before we sail. I can't wait to see it. It's a hell of a long plane ride though, but it's worth it. Selfie in front of the Opera House. Then there's New Zealand, Picton and Wellington. Gorgeous scenery. Can't wait to see what kind of excursions they'll be offering. South Pacific Islands, Tahiti, Moorea, Bora Bora, and finally Hawaii. Snorkeling at one of those is a requirement for me. Plus 11 days at sea to enjoy everything that gorgeous modern ship has to offer.